beliefs that shape our view. BX has got the facts for you. BX the storyteller, bringing the spark, no one does it better. BX, you've heard the rest, but she's the best, yeah, she's the best. From ancient tales to modern schemes, unraveling truths and chasing dreams. With every word.
Good afternoon. Hey, Easy Does It, how are you? Hey, Dread, how are you? Y'all could come up on the panel. Let me turn this down a little bit. I said, let me get my tail up here. Some people, you know, I provide, I guess, one of the safest spaces. I do not let, you know, tellers up here.
Hey,
Yes,
how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? You've been missing my lives, haven't you?
I have.
It's okay.
I haven't seen you live in a minute.
Yeah, it's very sporadic, but I'm getting tired. Not tired, but yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah.
You know, because even our safe spaces will allow, you know, the others in the room.
Right.
And I think that we just need a place for us to talk and stuff like that. One thing I am realizing though, Dred, is when I made my page private, I didn't clean my room, right? And so if my page was private, now I started looking at who views my profile, and I'm seeing all type of people. I said, oh, let me get you up out of here. So I've been removing a lot of people to the point TikTok be like, okay, you got to wait 24 hours to remove some more. But I don't mind as long as I have enough to go live and I lock it down as much as possible, just so we can vent or talk about whatever. Well, you're pretty much familiar with how I used to run my lives, correct?
Yeah. I'm out here walking the dog. We in the 70s this weekend, so
Lucky you. Hey, Malik.
not trying to rub it in or nothing like that, but
Yes,
I'm just
you
saying.
was. Yes, you was. How's the doggy?
Oh, he doing good. Just getting old, you know. So, you know, he's having a hard time hearing and seeing right now. But he's still in good spirits, you know.
Good. So,
Yes, indeed.
you know that ABC News Channel, which is a credible site, recognized FBA inventors, right?
Yes.
So that's a beautiful thing.
Yes, indeed.
Also, did you see Miss Nicki Minaj saying African Americans feel this way and they're not going to allow, or they're tired of? Did you see that, her video?
Yeah, that was weird. I thought that was weird that she's trying to speak on behalf of us, you know, and how we feel. It was really weird.
You know what else is weird? That she called us African Americans But I know when she feels like she's under pressure, she's not Trinidadian, she's black. As a black woman, I'm black, and
Right.
so I don't. I think that first of all, she's a New York tether, right? And we see how New York is. We see they got up in that in offices and stuff and have organizations talking about we, us, our, while getting things specifically for them. I don't want her speaking for us because she is not a black American. Period.
Exactly. Exactly. No, I don't like that
And
either.
she,
Yeah, she
and she
cosplays a
doesn't.
lot.
Yeah.
Facts.
But is it cosplaying if she told us that she was Trinidadian?
Well, no,
I
she
think
didn't
she.
like cosplay to being Trinidad. I just hate when she mentions when she's black. She never called
Oh yeah,
herself
when she's
black.
speaking on behalf. Yeah, when she's speaking on behalf of black people, yeah, she's definitely in that moment. She's definitely cosplaying.
You know
You
what?
know.
I think we're forgetting an old word, vulture, culture vultures.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I think that culture vultures should still be introduced because, in the conversation, I like the word tether, right? I like the word cosplaying, but some of these people are vultures. Now, Fat Joe, his ilk, I say they're culture vultures. There's no way they could cosplay us because they're not melanated enough. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I think
Yeah.
if a person tells us they're Caribbean and stuff, and they make their living off of our art form, but then turn around, they're reaping all the benefits, still put us down. I think that's a vulture.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also he can sometimes act like a colonizer too. He,
Yeah.
and he thinks like he's so deeply connected. He doesn't know our culture like
Hey,
that.
my
He just wants the
ancestors.
aesthetics. That's it. He wants the
Yeah,
Hmm.
aesthetics of our culture.
Yeah.
exactly.
Well said, BX. Well said. That's definitely a vulture because they're picking the meat from the bones. They're taking what they want from our culture, and they know that they benefit from their proximity to whiteness. So it's definitely a, a difference there.
And I think that what she's doing is she knows that she's losing some support because she sat up there, gave Donald Trump his praises. So of course she's gonna latch on to us. She has eyes all over social media. So she had to be watching and listening. Somebody had to tell her how we're feeling. Because I'm not gonna say that she was wrong with her statement. I'm just saying she ain't us and she shouldn't be speaking for us, especially because she aligns with people and things that we may not align with, right? She's not of the lineage. She has vultured, tethered on and vultured the lineage in our culture. So we do have foundational Black American activists, artists, entertainers who, if they wake the fuck up, they could speak for us, but not her. She ain't it. And
Facts.
then
Right,
she
and
used
she
the
was she was
term,
already off code already too, due to how's the way she acts and move. And then the problem is she has a very dark history, like due to her career, and especially her marrying an offender.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's why I lost my respect. And then she also called FBA's monkeys and stuff racial slurs too. I don't like that either.
Don't forget about the Rosa Parks lyric in the Malcolm X uh, uh, phototype album that she used for looking ass in word. But the fact that
Yep.
she's listening to us, but she's not tapped into us, or the fact that she used African American over Black American, or even foundational Black American, shows me where her mind is at. Because if you listen to FBA, she knows we don't want her speaking for us, right? If you listen to those who identify as, because African American is technically for foundational Black Americans, but we're having that removed. So she's trying to keep that word out there. So is Don Lemon and anybody else who's in the spotlight calling us African American. They heard of our preferred ethnonym at this time,
Oh yeah,
foundational Black
Don
American.
Lemon's a sellout, and it's sad he's from the lineage, and he sold us out real bad.
He has I looked into his genealogy because I was like, who is he? What is he? He is Creole and so he has Creole ancestry and, as they call it, African American ancestry. So yeah, you're right. He's definitely of the lineage. When they resist, um addressing why African Americans should be removed when they don't even talk about the fact that Nicki Minaj can be listed as an African American if Yvette Clarke is, if Roland Martin is, if Joyanne Reed is. So she knows what she's doing when she says certain things. We don't want that term out there anymore because it's a latch on. And it's lost its original definition. And if I'm correct, that happened around in the 1990s.
Yeah, it got hijacked too. What happened was that AA term was supposed to be about it, but then at the same time, the immigrants, the so-called melanated immigrants, hijacked it, and they kind of like remixed it to the point where we don't even like using the term anymore. And also, a lot of us never agreed with the term AA. Even back in the day, even a lot of elders didn't agree with that term AA. They were fine with Negro and all the other stuff, but AA, nah.
Exactly. So I always tell this story, y'all, because I came from the spiritual side of TikTok, right? And I fell into a Pan African room, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. Africans, Black Americans, and then they started bullying a Black American young lady. She was probably, I think she said she was 22 at the time. And what the conversation was about was how to make our communities better. What are the issues? And the young lady was like, we both have our issues and stuff that shouldn't get, me saying, well, she said, Black Americans, we wear a lot of weed. And, you guys, y'all have that bleaching issue, right? Why she said that? And you know who it was, Drag, that started flipping on her? Ngozi. Keisha. Now, you know her, Malik, because he's walking the doggy, so he may not be
Oh
able to
wait,
talk.
Nagogi? Who's that?
Keisha, the Pan African, we swear she African cosplaying the Black American. Thank you for the gifts, y'all. Thank you for liking the screen. My room is private, so you won't be able to share it out.
Oh, I never even seen her face. I forgot about it.
You forgot about it. Okay.
Yeah.
So as when she said, Black Americans wear too much weave, and Nigerians or Africans, they bleach a lot. They was like, what do you mean we bleach a lot? What do you mean? What do you identify as? African American or Black American? I'm like, whoa, whoa, this is weird. And then we started telling them to calm down, stop screaming at her like that. And I swear the young lady went to crying. You could hear it in her voice. So Black Americans went up there and they was like, what do you identify as? Black? No, what do you identify? Black American or African American? Black American. But you admit you of African descent, right? Because if you don't, you just hate yourself. All this other mess, right? So then I started realizing, damn, I gotta pick a side. Pan African or not, you're not gonna be bullying us like that, because to be honest, I didn't view one over the other. While we didn't identify as African American, I understood. My parents weren't in agreement with it because I was 13, and we was like, what the hell is African American? But life goes on. You look at the paper, you mark what you are. I never thought they were marking our body. I don't know what I thought they were marking, to be honest.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know what's crazy? When I was growing up, I never called myself African American. I always called myself Black American.
So
All the time.
yeah, because they be like, I have Latino friends, right? Sadly, some of them have passed away, and the others I lost touch with. But we had open, honest conversations about, because at the same time African American was being discussed within my circle, right? So was Hispanic and Latino, and I still to this day can't grasp the difference, right? But that's not my culture. But I still wanted to be respectful. So they'd be like, what do you want to, what do you identify as? I'd be like, I'm 100% Black. You know what I'm saying? But on paperwork and stuff, okay. But when I got here, it wasn't interchangeable. They felt like African American was just different from Black American, but I understood that was our reclassification term. So I asked my father, who was about 79 at the time, now he's 80, and I was like, Daddy, what do you identify as? Black? He said, yeah, I'm Black. I said, Black American? He said, yeah, I'm Black American. I said, African American? He looked at me like I was crazy. I said, what happened? He said, nothing against the Africans, but I wasn't raised that way.
Oh.
So yeah. So do you think, and he was born in 1946. So you think the man that raised me I'm just supposed to negate what he said. And I'm really surprised I asked him, but I said, well, maybe I missed something along the way. But yeah, my father raised me and we didn't identify in the house as African American. But when you are filling out paperwork and it says Black/African American, you just, I just had an understanding that was us. I never thought that the Caribbean, well, the term for us, I never thought that the Caribbean and the Africans were literally marking our boxes.
Well, yeah, because since they are from those African ethnic groups, we didn't come from those African ethnic groups. Because remember, we as Black people, we're Americans. Like them, those melanated groups, they're Africans. So it made sense for them to mark the African American thing because they are the African groups, whatever African groups they are, whether Nigerian, Sudanese, Ethiopian, and all this stuff. It made more sense. It didn't make sense to have the AA term because we don't know what part of Africa we're from.
Exactly. So, but you know what? Some Jamaicans know where they came from. But even my kids, this has opened a whole new conversation for us, right? But my son was telling, in New York, we do ask where your people from, right? And we've been doing that for years. If we saw somebody with melanation, we said, "Oh, you Black too?" No, I'm Caribbean. No, I'm Puerto Rican. So on and so forth. But even my son was like, "Yeah, they be asking me, telling me, you got African in you, right?" And he was like, "I guess because my father's Jamaican." He don't never attribute African to us,
Right.
but
Well,
he
yeah,
contributes
because
it to his father.
Some of them Caribbeans vary. Some of them do admit that they have African ancestry, or sometimes they don't identify this saying, "Oh, I'm Afro this or Afro Caribbean." They say I'm just Caribbean or wherever
Yeah.
Caribbean group they are. Even though they do know they have African ancestry, but they don't brag about, "Oh, I'm Afro Caribbean."
Yeah. One thing about Jamaica, though, Jamaica had a very detailed census, and they even, took a record of enslaved people by first and last name, and where they were born. Yeah. So even if you were enslaved, they didn't do like here in America, where they just kind of kept a tally and a separate like slave schedule or anything like that. In Jamaica, they literally track them by first and last name, even those that were enslaved. So I think they have a
Really,
good.
why I'm having such a hard time, though?
Say again?
Yeah,
I'm having a hard time
but
with my children's father's side.
Oh
and,
yeah.
and you know what? And they have a higher African ancestry than us anyway. When you think about all those Caribbean groups, they similar to those people from Africa, like your Jamaicans, the Haitians, and maybe your other Caribbean groups we don't know about, or Bohemians. They similar to the Nigerians and Central Africans and Congolese people. Not us. We're completely different than those two groups genetically.
You know, yeah, but with the DNA test, I was able to find some of their living relatives. They were in the UK, but paper wise, it's hard. And the cousins who said they would get back to me, they ain't interested. They ain't get back to me.
Right.
But hi, Toyota. I kind of want it because he'll drive. I just wanted to get his thoughts. Go ahead, Toyota.
Yo, what up, G?
What up, family? Nah, y'all good. I just can't tell the family what's up.
Hey,
We
what's up,
got
Dayota?
what's up, Malik? I ain't got to. I'm looking for something right now, so give me a sec.
Okay.
Yeah, take your time, man.
Yeah, so the Caribbean, that's where you really find if they'll say it on the census African.
Oh yeah, definitely, because they're actually were like Dred said, they were documented very easily versus us, where we was already here, but we had our earlier ethnogenesis for thousands of years, so we've been far removed from Africa.
And I also believe people were traveling way before the chattel slavery or the TSA happened. You know what I'm saying? Before the Europeans stood upright and shit.
Well, yeah. And then also depends on our genealogy, because you got to remember, BX, every FBA's genealogy varies. You have some that
Yeah.
are already here, and you have some that were prior to the slave trade. So it varies.
Facts. But yeah, I watched those some of those shows where like some famous people get their genealogy traced, and they like travel all over the world and all over the country to like investigate their roots. And I think it's something like finding your roots. And I saw this Caribbean British actress who descended from like Windrush immigrants to Britain, and she was able to find very detailed information about her enslaved Jamaican ancestors, like by name, and she had one that was listed from Africa, like one of her great grandparents was listed from Africa.
Well, you know what? That made sense, Dress, because you know why? Even that slave trade, some of the enslaved Africans got dropped off in Europe first before it touched before the USA. So it made a lot of sense. And Europe and Africa are neighbors; they close to each other
Yeah,
geographically. And while North America, we're far away from them.
but now her people got to Europe via the Windrush generation. Like Windrush, they were essentially opening up their immigration practices so that they can get people from the Caribbean to come over and help rebuild Great Britain after some World War damage and all of that. And so they were bringing in people from all over. Her family was Windrush. They were like originally from the Caribbean, and they went there to work, as labor. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
these were like indigenous Caribbeans, pretty much.
Uh, probably some of her ancestry might have been, definitely indigenous Caribbean or whatnot. When you say indigenous, you mean like Taino descendant?
Yeah, kind of like that, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, she descends from like enslaved people that were in the Caribbean, and so what she found out is that like one of her great greats was actually on the census by first and last name, and that person was born in Africa. Um,
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay.
no doubt. I'm gonna see if I can find that episode. I'll show it. Yeah.
Yeah,
The Ben
definitely. Because
Affleck episode where he found out that he had family, ancestors that were enslavers, and that's the whole reason why Dr. Gates got in trouble the first time, right? They opted to leave it out, and I think somehow it got leaked that he opted to leave it out, and then I think the show went off the air for a little while. Does that sound familiar? And
Oh,
then he came back.
when Ben Affleck hid his slave trading roots.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember
that's cool.
that. But yeah,
I used to watch that show a lot of Finding Your Roots because he used to meet every celebrity from back. He first started off with the Foundation of Black American Celebrities at first until they had to make a very multicultural, where he had to be open to white tea celebrities, Hispanic
yeah.
celebrities, of course, black or melanated immigrant celebrities and Asian celebrities to do genealogy. Yeah, he every time like he would do a genealogy, he would find ways to like trace back their ancestry or their ancestors due to their last names. And he's FBA himself too from West Virginia.
Dr. Gates, yeah.
Yeah, Lewis Gates, yeah, Junior, yeah, he's from West Virginia. He FBA. He's part of people called the the Chestnut Ridge people.
Hmm.
Yeah, mostly those people down there. They mostly have a lot of white tea ancestry, even though they still black people. It just they have a little more white tea ancestry in their DNA. Pretty much look like quadroons, pretty much.
You hear something? You know how they always bothering us? Well, you got white tea ancestry or European ancestry. Now I want to go over there and kick out the Africans and the Caribbeans and claim my European birthright. I think we should go over there and clear Europe out. Just in memory of our cousins who fully assimilated into into those
You see, you
cultures. They
can't
need
wait till
help.
you and you know what's the thing? We don't brag about having white teens. We proud of being black. So
Right.
we at a point where we don't care about us having white tea ancestry. We proud of being colored copper swarthy complected black people.
When you say swarthy, I think of dirt. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean by more of a reddish people. I would like to say maybe like color copper reddish people, black folks.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Yeah.
Mhm. So, how do you feel being recognized by ABC News Channel? And they said FBA by name. Oh, you want to go on the? You got the.
Oh yeah, yeah. So this is what it is. It's called Who Do You Think You Are? Like they do like British people, a lot of people from all over the world. It's not Finding Your Roots. It's this episode, Naomi Harris. She's a British actress, like Caribbean British actress, and yeah, her episode, like they show her like going through census records from Jamaica. And yeah, so if y'all look at this episode right here, it's Naomi Harris uncovers shocking slave trade link. And the show is called Who Do You Think You Are? So y'all gotta check it out, peep it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out on YouTube. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you. So while
No
we
doubt.
have Dr. Gates' name in the circulating, did anybody ever see the PBS special that was set to come out? Where they mentioned they had it to me framed as if it was going to be about our ancestors, the Great Migration, and then all of a sudden, here come them pesky melanated immigrants, history, and I just watched the trailer and I was over it.
Yeah, I didn't watch the Great Migration because I hated that he had to include Africans and Caribbeans part of the Great Migration, and because they were not part of that Great Migration. Great Migrations is all about foundational Black Americans who left down south that went to the Midwest, the North, and the West Coast. And he should have never included the Africans and Caribbeans. They had nothing to do with the Great Migration.
At all. So let me ask y'all a question. When you hear them say our ancestors fled, they're not talking about the ones who went into Canada, the Nova Scotians. Sometimes they mention the Liberians, but they're not talking about the ones who went into Mexico and so on and so forth, right? They're talking about our ancestors who left the South and came to the North, or when you say North, would you include Chicago in that? The Midwest, the West? I hear some people say,
Well,
when we went up north.
oh wait, what I mean by the North, we're talking about like Northeast cities like New York, Philly, Jersey, Baltimore. That's what I mean by the North. And the Midwest cities I mentioned is Chicago, Detroit, St. Louis, Kansas City, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Those are what I mentioned by the Midwest. And
Okay.
Madison, Wisconsin, that's the Midwest. I always like to separate because I don't want to confuse always the Northeast versus the Midwest. Because I hate when like people call Chicago the East Coast. No, it's the Midwest.
Thank you. So I was thinking about it yesterday because it really, really, really irks me. But if common sense tells you that we still have more of our lineage in the South, then they act like the whole South just picked up and came, as they say, went up north, right?
Right.
That's simply not the case. And we always remained connected, those who have Southern roots, because now there is a possibility. I hear a lot of people say New York didn't have slaves. There were no slaves up north. So New York and New Jersey, I pretty much could speak for, well, mainly New York. So now we are wondering, and I've been asking historians, that I have contact with, could there have been Northerners who didn't even intermingle with the South? By intermingling, I mean, yeah, you're gonna have friends from the South, but I mean marry, have children with. So I believe that there's like a enclave who didn't have any Southern roots or don't have any Southern roots, even though they're from the North.
Right.
But they're still foundational. Yeah. Hi, Bombay.
Yeah, so
Hey,
me myself personally, when it comes to the word fled,
Uh-huh.
I don't have any issues. Like if tellers are like, well, y'all fled the South and went up north, some people did. Let's keep it real, because honestly, there was a Cold War that was going on where these white supremacists weren't just getting away with everything. We were actually taking them out as well when they harm, some of our family members. And we all have stories of relatives that had to go from the South because they unalived somebody that was YT, and they had to get out of there. So the word fled don't bother me. It bothers those tellers real bad though. So some people actually did see the South, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
But then I wouldn't say they fled. What you call it, fugitive. I like fugitive better because that shows they gave them the business, because I understand that. But I would have said fled if the Tethers weren't in the conversation, because they always trying to compare themselves to us, and I just think
Right.
they need to stop.
Yeah,
Right, and you know what's the crazy thing? Some of our family members stayed in the South and still hold it down. And why you think we still have family reunions in the South? Like they always told their family members from the North and West Coast, the Midwest, to come down South for family reunions. We didn't flee the South. We just went up there just for more job opportunities because there was more economic and more financial support in the West Coast, the North, and the Midwest more than the South. So I don't care what the Tedders think. We didn't flee the South. We still have family down there.
well, here's the thing: they still have family in Africa too, and they still have family in the Caribbean. So
Thank you.
having family in those other places doesn't necessarily mean that they didn't flee. You know what I'm saying, or did or did not flee. So for me, that word don't bother me too much. You know what I'm saying? But like BX said, they try to use it to compare to what we did. The difference is we stayed in our own country. We can literally make a drive back to our ancestral lands in the South. They can't do that. They got
Right. Yeah, they left the whole entire country.
Yeah, they got to pay $1,600 for a flight. So yeah, so it's a difference there based off the distance and the fact that you went to a completely different foreign continent. And I think that makes a world of difference. But
Right. It's like saying like a foundational Black American from Flint, Michigan, or Detroit can drive down to Alabama by using his car and truck, and it'll be like, let's say, like a 6-hour drive. Same thing if a FBA Californian leaves LA and he can go down to Arkansas to visit his family. 8-hour drive.
Facts.
So Mary says her whole family. She says my family remained in the South, all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she says she always hear. She says I always hear they went north, so that's why I asked. Because sometimes you really, yeah, they went north, and then we settled in Chicago, and I feel like, okay, but I get it. I get it. It's generally speaking just to show that they left the South.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you one thing. No matter where the Southerners went, they already had a plus over other groups that were migrating there because they had us. I say us established there already. Because there was slavery in Philly, right? They were emancipated even before New York. Shout out to Sister Wolfie for correcting me on that. New Jersey, New York, like all these places had slavery. Now California is a little bit different, right? And you're from Cali, right, Malik?
Yeah, I'm from Cali. I'm from LA.
Right.
And at the same time, they had slavery in Cali too. They actually had a plantation like in Southern California near San Bernardino. I think Tariq Nasheed mentions this too. There was actually slavery there, but they just don't like to mention it because they think Black people were so free in California. No, we got enslaved California. Even they showed it in the Bay too. That gold rush was about foundational Black Americans that were from California got enslaved in the gold rush.
So this is what I read, right? That technically California wasn't a slave state, but with the gold rush, enslavers brought along with them their enslaved, with our enslaved ancestors, right? And that there was an early legislator. I know his last name was Estill, Estill, right? And he owned he enslaved others, right? And so what he was trying to do was make California a slave state, but that didn't work out too well. So when I'm on the on the app and you see white tea men. Why they need reparations? You know, it wasn't a slave state. So I want to ask a clear question, Malik. So was there slavery in the early days of the U.S. chattel slavery era, and then it ceased to be? And afterward, the gold rush happened, and people started bringing enslaved, or was there always slavery in there in California, and nobody just wants to tell the real history?
I'm gonna be really honest with you, BX.
Hmm.
They actually did brought slaves that came from other regions, and they brought it here to California. That's number one. And then number two, the slavery here in California only lasted up to it got to, like, let's say, the 1850s. That's when I think the abolish of slavery ended for California, especially with the gold rush. So
Okay.
yes, we'll say like 10 years early before Juneteenth happened in Texas.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Cash, I invited you up. Anybody who wants to join the panel, you could. My room is a safe space. I don't allow the others, I'm gonna say, you know, because not everybody's a tether, right? But they do some tetherish shit. I don't allow everybody on my platform. I try to keep it to just the lineage, because we do need rooms just for us. Hey, Mary.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. Look, I was trying to send you a link to a video, but you may have already saw it, but it wouldn't allow me to send it to you. It's from the Assemblyman Landon. You familiar with him?
No, were you trying to put it in the chat?
No, I sent it through message.
So I probably have to accept the message request, because that would be the first message you sent me, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I have to accept the
Well, it
message
says
request.
failed though. Usually it will say sent, and I just have to wait for the person to approve. I thought that was weird, but anyway, it's from the assemblyman in New York City. He went and he was speaking, and he was talking about Black History Month, and he's a foundational Black American.
Was it bad? Did he give?
No, it actually wasn't. He did say something. He did say something that was but for the most part, it sounded really good for the most part. And I didn't realize that there were more of them, you know, because that's good, you know, for y'all to have more people that align with the agenda.
Okay, I see what happened. You could try to send the link now. I wasn't following you back.
Okay.
So if I'm, yeah.
I'm gonna send it. I'll send it again, but I want you to look at it. You know, it might be something to post or to talk about or something like that. Useful content.
Thank you. And I need to know who is like, you know, where their mindset is at, because we're in midterms and stuff like that. So
yeah, he
I gotta
talked
know who
about
to
his
support
family.
and who to put my breath behind, you know.
Yes.
Oh, check out there. Yeah, because I know we have a Jamaican running for some office somewhere, and Miss Whitley Yates tore him apart, and then, you know.
Yeah, well, I know y'all said y'all had somebody out there. I can't remember what kind of position it was, but when I saw him, I'm like, I don't think that's the same person. I'm like, well, there's more. Great, good. You know.
Right. No, well, then you probably talking about Sister Brooke from the U.S. Freedmen's Project and Brother Divine. He's the founder of the U.S. Freedmen's Project.
No.
And they finally been able to secure a representative named Nikki Lucas.
Yes.
Who is, yes. And because the reparations bill we have now is just a sham, right? And so I get all my information about reparations from Sister Keisha of Thorough Black Talk Worldview and the U.S. Freedmen's Project, which is Brother Divine and Sister Brooke, because they're very proactive, always at the meetings and stuff. We'll travel throughout the state to make these meetings. And sometimes they have virtual town hall calls, so they do invite me, right? And so what I'm finding is that this reparations bill, if it ever passed, which I doubt it would, is strictly race-based, and they're trying to latch on every demographic you could think of except for the white tea people. But even the white tea people showed up upstate, and one was talking about a different type of framework. I said, if this lady don't understand that if she could use her privilege, that don't mean she needs to come here and try to use it on us. She ain't getting no reparations with us. But this is the shit we going through in New York, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So they finally,
I've seen a
I'm
couple of the
here.
hearings because they put them
Oh,
on
good,
YouTube.
good.
Um,
Thank you. Right. And that's another issue. They took it off the website and put it on YouTube. Can you tell me if you ever see anybody's reparations hearings on YouTube?
no, because there are other
Right.
cities that I've tried to watch. So no, I haven't seen
Right.
anybody else.
Like it's like a
It's closed
open
It's like a closed conversation.
Sorry, that was my phone. It's like an open sabotage to me. So what the U.S. Freedmen's Project has relayed to those who came to the meeting, Sister Brooke will tell you on these panels too, that they had found Nikki Lucas. She is foundational, and they wrote a more constitutionally sound reparations bill for descendants of freed men. So that would definitely lock people off. Other than that, I don't sit in the meetings with them and stuff, but they are working for our greater good. So I trust them.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So I'm gonna look into Landon, and you can also send me the link. And look at Cash; he's using my stickers, y'all. Tap the screen, complete your daily heartbeats. I do have a gift goal, guys. The Yoda's back. Hi, Black American. You want to come up with? There's a prompt. I put some topics on the prompt. You can choose to talk about that or what you've heard. Go ahead, Yoda. You might as well speak now. Thank you, my ancestors' dreams.
Dang, let me help contribute to the gift goal first. Jesus.
Thank you.
I just got up on the stage. Let me help.
But this is just...
You see how she doing me, family? You see how she doing me terrible.
Because you be coming up, dropping, and then, I want to get your insight.
Oh God!
I'm just trying to see what everybody in the lineage is talking about. So I'm just dipping in and out. Right now I'm safe. So I'm staying up here for a minute. So I will get my thoughts and perspectives. But I know the family just be out of here for me. So I sound like E40 on the good day. So I think the family just be tired of hearing from me. But National Black History Month, of course, recognized by the ABC News channel, Immigrants and I Speak for Black American Communities. Y'all already know. If you don't know how I feel about the topic, y'all should already know how I feel about the topic.
You kind of breaking up.
We did enough.
Yeah, you sound a little muffled, man.
How about that? Because I just brought
now you sound good.
Yeah, that's better.
Let me. Okay, so y'all should already know how I feel about the topic. I'm glad that we got federally, not so, like nationally recognized, because the troll, they be like, we're only online. Like, no, motherfucker, y'all know who he is. We the main group. Y'all know that we them boys for real. Y'all know that I'm just tired of people playing with us. I'm just tired of it. I'm but though, my whole perspective of it is, y'all know they shouldn't be allowed to speak for our communities. I think that should be impacting our policies and laws, because these people have shown us time and time again that they're not here to help. They're here to just be parasitic leeches. And so, they need a host, and we not their host. So they just need to go on about their business. Shout out to the Africans in Africa. Shout out to the West Indies people in the West Indies, man. As long as y'all over there, I don't give a fuck. We never gave a flying, because I want to keep it respectful, because this is the big auntie page. And, on my page, we could do all that cussing and yelling, but for the aunties, for the beard riders, we should keep it very respectful, because that's something that's taught within our lineage. So, but since I'm a younger generation, y'all know y'all could just rock out. I don't, so, but so it's just that, it's just the most, it's just I don't know what else to say, cause I'm just I don't know what else to say, cause it's
Oh, you know what? Can I speak on the ABC thing? Actually, I was so pro. When I saw that the ABC thing that happened with that brother. I forgot his name who works for ABC News. Man, I was just so happy when he said foundational Black American on national television with his full chest. I was like, thank you. Put some respect on our identity. I was like, oh my Lord. I was like, this was not an internet thing. It went worldwide. I love it. And I think the brother, he's a foundational Black American himself. But I might need to search up who said that on the ABC News. But I was just like, I was so happy as hell. I was like, thank you for not calling us the AA word. Call us by our real names. FBA all day, every day.
Please.
Facts.
And we can't leave out the video that he showed, and she is an elder. Her name is Teresa Almond. She's here on TikTok, of course. And I believe a few of us follow her.
Yeah,
So
I follow her. Yeah.
Yeah, same here too. Yeah, I looked at her content. She makes great content on Foundation Black American History. I love her videos.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. You know what? The timing of the ABC News segment was perfect. Tariq had recently posted an interaction that he had with Ngozi on TikTok, and Ngozi, she went and found like some witness testimony from an Asian woman who went and testified before Congress that Foundational Black Americans were an organization that was anti-Asian because she was one of those people that spoke out during the whole end of affirmative action thing, and how Asians were saying that Black people were given precedence over Asian people in applications to like Ivy League schools such as Harvard University. She was one of those people, and she said that she had been threatened and had been harassed by an organization called the Foundational Black Americans. And so Tariq published that video maybe like a day or two before the ABC News segment. So I think the timing was just perfect to kind of debunk that racist Asian lady that was trying to say that, Foundational Black Americans were like some sort of organization that was harassing her, and that it was related to YT supremacy and all of that. So it was perfect. It was perfect timing. I'm so glad that happened. Yeah, I'm gonna land there.
So you know what? My last live, nobody asked me, and he's a historian too, and he's like, can during Black History Month, can we highlight? I think he said a Black American leader or something. So, is there anyone or any event that you would like to highlight at this time, guys? Don't get quiet on me now. Y'all should
Oh
know this.
wait, say it again. My bad.
All right. So to answer nobody's request from a previous live, he asked us to highlight like a great leader, and I'm gonna add in an event for our segments during Black History Month.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a great idea.
Somebody off the top of your head, Malik, because you do a lot of history content. You really be going in on the music, honoring. You honor all genres that we have. I see your posts.
Oh yeah, I be playing like different like types of artists that are foundational Black American like legends, city to city, and then I will post like a certain invention, like a 55,000 invention patents that we created. Yeah, I'm always like posting all the time, just to see like how many FBAs online kind of react to like my posts.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be like a lot of likes, as long as like everybody recognizes it, and even non-FBAs can recognize, yeah, that's one of our 55,000 patents we created here in the United States.
So Mary is in the comments, and she stated Dick Gregory and Louis Armstrong. Now, Malik, off the top of your head, right? Name one invention that you would like to highlight, and one artist or another black leader of your choice?
I'll say another artist I want to mention. I want to mention Alice Coltrane, John Coltrane's wife. And then you said an invention, right?
Yes, but give us a little, because my father loves John Coltrane. So what was it about his wife that made you want to mention her?
I feel like she doesn't get enough credit in terms of like being one of like the greatest like black female jazz musicians, because
Mhm.
a lot of like your instrumentation is that like for the females, they don't get enough credit for like contributing to a lot of like, of the sounds and stuff of music, and how she kind of influenced other like black artists that came right after her, kind of like, got influenced by her, like, because we always mention the Sarah Vaughns, we always mention Bobby Humphrey, we always mention, Ellis Fitzgerald and all them, but Alice Coltrane gets left out in terms of music, contributing to American music.
Thank you for that. Dred, are you able to contribute?
I mean, I would prefer to do some research on who I would want to highlight.
Uh,
Honestly.
Come on, be spontaneous. Somebody you're very musically inclined. Give us a musician.
Um, I don't.
I'm back here googling for my answer, y'all.
See, that's why I say, I would rather be and have somebody that is like um maybe overlooked, not well known or unsung. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Really briefly, what I'll do is, I was amazed to find out because I was doing a segment. Y'all pretty much probably saw my National Black American History 365, because our history will never fit in just a month, right? And I just used to do little like prompts, the size of a prompt, and I would pick, our great scholars, events that we went through. I think I did the National Equal Rights League, and that's two of my pin posts up there. So it was like back to back, talking about them, how they were formed after Reconstruction. But one other thing that I was amazed about, right? Let me say this. The thing about the National Equal Rights Leagues was that they combated the conditions they were going through, like the Black Codes. They combated it with political organizations, and a lot of them were Union vets, Union Army vets who were still armed. So they gave armed resistance towards, them clans coming after them. But I was amazed to learn that Chicago had a renaissance at the time, I think, of the Harlem Renaissance. And for me, Chicago's renaissance isn't really talked about where I'm at, because, everybody else might have known. I just didn't know. And I found out about that a few years ago. So I would like to mention that Chicago did have its own renaissance. And so, off of a brief Google search, right, I'm going to read what they say about the two. It says the Harlem, and it has the year 1920s, and Chicago, 1930s through 50s, renaissances were pivotal. Overlapping, they got that pesky term, y'all. So I'm going to say Black American cultural movements fueled by the Great Migration. While Harlem focused on artistic identity, diaspora, and often relied on white tea patronage, the Chicago Renaissance was more radical, focusing on working class life, politics, and social reform. So they say key differences and similarities. Harlem Renaissance, centered in New York, this period is often referred to as a flowering of high art, featuring figures like Langston Hughes. My dad said when he was younger he met Langston Hughes, but he was a child, so he didn't, he don't have no great quotes, but he do remember meeting him. Claude McKay and Zora Neale Hurston. If you know anything about Sister Wolfie, She always talks about Zora Neale Hurston. It was categorized by a focus on Black pride. Here we go. I ain't even reading that one. New York is embarrassing me right now, but
Hey, and you know what's
I,
crazy? It's crazy.
huh?
The BX. They actually was
What?
there was a lot of Black Renaissance all throughout the United States. Not only just New York. They even had some in Cincinnati. They had one in Detroit. They had one in San Diego, California, San Antonio, Texas, Birmingham,
Ooh,
North
you
Carolina.
gave me some homework.
Mm-hmm. It was
So,
it was Renaissance everywhere.
So I want to say this. We do understand, well, I understand when I look at the migrations into New York, we do understand the elite may have, like, let's take the elite Latinos. They started migrating or being allowed to migrate here in the late 1890s, but they got their citizenship, I want to say, 1912. The Caribbean was migrating here at the same time. And at the same time, I think the South started migrating up too. That's why I say the South had a plus because they came into already established Black communities that we were the dominant presence. So when we bring up things like the Harlem Renaissance, right? You may have had one lone Caribbean, right? And this is a harm of Pan Africanism. We would highlight the Caribbean over the thousands, if not millions, of a movement that was already going on in certain regions. So the Harlem Renaissance is foundational Black American. Did one or two Caribbeans participate? It's likely, very likely, right? However, that does not mean that they influenced anything that we had going on now. If anything, they were there and they participated in okay. But I'm honoring my ancestors. That's why I said New York is embarrassing me right now because New York Black Americans are documented in New York since the 1600s. Of the land that they were under a status called have freedom during a certain period of time. They were given land by the Dutch, right? And they called that land of the Blacks, like that demographic land of the Blacks. So I don't understand how the Caribbean, the Latinos, and I'm sorry, my Southerners, I would like y'all to start using the word mesh when you talk about y'all migration, right? But for the other two, we already had hundreds of years here in New York. Why the hell you think we needed you to influence anything? We can't forget there were kidnapping clubs. So that's how probably a lot of Southern stuff got to New York too, because New York was still supporting slavery and people were being kidnapped from New York or escaping to the North from their enslavement in the South. So I don't get why the foreigners would migrate here, even if we acquired them as a territory, and think one or two participating in the Harlem Renaissance mean that they were very intricate or needed for the Harlem Renaissance. Does that make sense to y'all? Do I have something off?
No, you was not all of it. It's just the problem is the people who were not from New York or are not like born and raised in New York, they wasn't there. And the problem with the New York Tedders, they kind of had this mindset. They saying, I was there, but you wasn't there. It was only foundational Black American New Yorkers who already set the foundation of the Harlem Renaissance. And maybe a little, and then you had some of our FBA Southerners that did came up north, but they know that it was already established already.
Yeah, because we already had Weeksville, there was Sandy Ground. Now I can tell you with Sandy Ground, Snowden, Maryland FBA migrated to New York to get away from whatever conditions they were going through, but they were given like the least fertile land and they made it work together. All these other entities talking about we needed them for culture or they participated so they were intricate and things like that. That's recent talk. And if y'all was really, really that intricate in the Harlem Renaissance, y'all would have been talking about it. Not just now when we're demanding this or asserting who we are in our land. Now you want to come and say you contributed? No, go contribute to your homeland. Leave us the hell alone. But for the most part, Black Americans, I'm going to say Pan-Africans, if you were Pan-African at one point in time and you were highlighting Marcus Garvey over the likes of Booker T. Washington A. Philip Randolph, Randolph, anybody, foundational Black American heritage, then we were, because I'm out of that now. We were a part of the problem, and we have to set it straight. Because why do we have to give away our great elders and ancestors' history to some other folks that can't get shit shaken in their island?
Well, you gotta think about it. The Pan African thing started in the Northeast, so you guys got stuck on it for a long time. So
Yeah.
but at least, like, well, I'm so happy that for you guys, especially you guys are kind of like laying off the Pan Africanism. You kind of guys are letting it go now. You're kind of embracing your Americanism.
Yeah, because Pan-Africanism will have you skip 500 years of documented history on this land, for a continent whose own people was telling me since 2010 I was an African. No matter how nice I was, to the point where now they can't stand me because, yeah, motherfucker, you right. your people over there are right. But I want to introduce my ancestors' dream statement. She says, I think Albert Murray is very underrated. So I'm going to look up Albert Murray now, and the Black Americans House has joined. What would you like to contribute?
Hey
Hi,
y'all,
Ronnie. Hey.
it I'm just getting out of the cold. And
Uh,
yeah, it's cold up here. Oh, and tell me why. I think that was yes, no, not yesterday. That was Thursday. I had a whole Dominican telling me that Black Americans have some sort of Haitian uh, ancestry if they go further back. I could
the
not believe that
Dominican.
nonsense. Yeah, he a
Right.
Dominican.
Tell the Dominicans stop projecting. How could Black Americans have some Haitian ancestry and they on the same island? Does the Dominican have Haitian ancestry? Yes, I say they do.
They
Wani said
do.
sick people, sick people. They won't let us. That's my word again. Ethnic autonomy. They will not let us have ethnic autonomy.
And see,
That's
I had another person, so I was in a meeting, and a tether, I think they said they were from, it was Jamaica, and then I forgot the other place. I was telling him about Sylvia's in Harlem, and then he gonna try to talk down about Sylvia's. I don't know. I'm not from up here, but I was trying to rep it because of it's a Black American restaurant, and he started bringing up this Afro fusion restaurant that's up there. I was like, I'm good.
African food is
say that,
nasty.
Cash is related to Sylvia. But say
Oh,
that last part again. What did the person say?
they started
And look
bringing
up
up
Cash.
Afro. Oh,
uh, Go ahead.
they were telling. I was bringing up Sylvia's, the restaurant in Harlem,
Yeah.
and they started talking down about different things that happened at Sylvia's, and then um, brought up this other Afro fusion. I don't know if it was like Afro Jamaican something fusion,
Hmm.
and I just kind of stayed silent through the rest of that meeting. I only talked when
Oh,
I
it was
needed
at a
to.
meeting.
Hmm.
So that's probably a new migrant. Sylvia's, I believe the Clintons, like people used to fly in to go to Sylvia. Nobody's flying into that Afro
Oh,
fusion.
that's what it was. He also had brought up that the restaurant that he was talking about that he was saying that was better than so called. He was saying that was better was I forgot. I think it was like the Red Rooster or something. I forgot the
Yeah,
name.
it's in
And
Harlem.
he was talking about how Obama closed that down. I'm like, I don't give a damn about old Obama.
Right. To be honest, they doing too much. And it's 333, y'all. 333 Eastern Standard Time. If you believe in angel numbers, then that number is for you.
Me too.
So
Caribbean
so
Eve.
so here's my issue. These people. So first of all, let me tell you something. In New York, Black Americans had soul food. The Jamaicans had have their establishments, and it was just Jamaican. African restaurants and stuff is fairly new to me. I'm surprised when I see or hear of them in New York, right? But that just shows me I'm not as tapped into my city as I need to be. But I ain't visited no African establishment, and I'm highly upset that all of a sudden I want to know how the Caribbean is starting to lose their culture to the point that they want to latch onto ours and food
Hello.
stuff. So even though I have half Caribbean children, when their father cooks, right, or cooked, he was making his food. He was telling the children, "This is Jamaican food." We know the difference between our food and my food, and you know what I'm saying. There's a way that you can still be proud of your culture and not impose on ours, FBA. Um, Hi, nobody. I spoke about you earlier. We did like you asked me yesterday to do a spotlight of a Black American, I guess, person, leader, or I added event. And so Dred wants to research his. We mentioned Dick Gregory, Louis Armstrong, and my ancestor's dream. I pulled up Albert Murray. He is a novelist. And he was a renowned, they said African American guys, but I'm gonna say Black American. Albert Murray, born 1916 through 2013, was a renowned Black American novelist, literary critic, and essayist known for elevating jazz and blues to sophisticated cultural philosophy. He is best known for his influential essay collection, The Omni Americans, written in 1970, which argued that Black American culture is central to American identity, and Stomping the Blues, written in 1976, a seminal text on jazz aesthetics. So thank you for that, my ancestors' dream. But so anything about a foundational Black American, especially in New York, our culture, our standing in our own community, they obviously don't know that Black Americans have been documented in New York since the Dutch was here, which I believe the year 1623, right? We're documented. We own parts of Brooklyn because the Dutch gave it to us. Um, and we call that land of the black. I don't understand how people who migrate to New York in the 1900s can say that we needed them for anything, or that anything about our culture, which would include Sylvia's restaurant, to say that something else is better or that something bad happened. Go home. Go home
Thank
and
you.
be instrumental in your island or your African nation, your Latin nation, your European nation. Like, just go the hell home now. And it's everybody. And you know who's pretty quiet though? Yeah, the white tea immigrants are pretty quiet, but they're getting deported. But it's everybody, everybody,
I didn't
just
sing
like
some.
trying to take a piece of us.
I
And
didn't sing
Cash, can
some.
you? Huh? Go ahead, and then Cash could go. Go ahead, Black American House.
I didn't sing some. The ICE is out here in New York, in the city.
Good, good. Pick them all up. Pick up some Puerto Ricans too.
Oh
They
no.
annoying. Not all, but a many are annoying. So Cash, you are related to Sylvia and Melba, and you
Yes.
know our culinary greats. So you
What's
get the
up,
gist of what the
BX?
Black American. Hey, go ahead. I'll let you talk. Hi, Lionel.
Yeah, shout out to the whole room. My bad. I'm multitasking, like working, so y'all might hear background noise and stuff. But when I heard our sister talking about my auntie Sylvia, I said I had to come up, and address this because a lot of people don't understand what makes my auntie very great. And one of the things that makes her great, you know, is the fact that her, my grandfather, my other aunties, and great aunties and stuff like that, my great great grandfather, They all came up to New York from South Carolina, Hemingway, South Carolina. And my great grandfather, James Presley, beat the brakes off of a South Carolina police officer, protecting the family. And as a result, he fled to the north. And then later, a lot of our family came up north after he went to the north. And you know how the Great Migration went. So he beat this South Carolina police officer, got away with it, fled to the north, had my auntie Sylvia later, she was born up north. No, wait. I might have to double check on that. I have to ask my mom, or maybe I'll share the live to my mom. Anyways, long story short, my auntie Sylvia came from all of that, oppressive, they've been trying to hold my family back for so long. Stole our land in South Carolina. I found out it's a lot of acres of land that was stolen. And she was able to rise up from nothing and create a soul food empire, right? And so for a tether to fix their mouth and speak against my auntie, and see, these tethers better be real careful, because if they say the wrong thing in the wrong room, you never know who you sitting next to. You could be sitting next to somebody that's related to Sylvia or Melba's or a Malcolm X or a Dr. King, somebody that's related to Nat Turner. You never know who you sitting next to. And they gonna check you. Hell, might physically check you. You know what I'm saying? Because until a Jamaican can show me that they could do the same exact thing in their homeland, or a Caribbean, right, in their homeland, and have a whole street in one of the major cities on the planet Earth, for you, do you know how significant that is to have a whole street named after you, Sylvia Woods Way in Harlem, New York, in one of the greatest cities on the planet? Come on, man. Like Bill O'Reilly on Fox News, right, years ago, he said that he went to Sylvia's in Harlem and he sat down and he ate. And, everybody know Bill O'Reilly. He's a little white tea supremacist. But he said he sat down and ate. And he was so surprised that people were not throwing drinks and fighting and cussing each other out, saying mother effer this and mother effer that. And it irked my soul when he said that, because it's like, how did you expect people to react when you sat down in a famous soul food restaurant? So it's funny how these people behave just like the YT supremacists. See, I expect Bill O'Reilly to say something like that after eating at my auntie's establishment. But for a tether to say something like that, y'all got similar skin tone to us. So why is y'all talking down on us? Furthermore,
Exactly.
for Bill Clinton and DJ Khaled and all these people to want to call my cousin Melba up right now and be like, yo, can we get some reservations? Man, true story. I served DJ Khaled. That was my first day on the job at Melba's in Harlem. I never forget. And Khaled was eating like a little fat slob at the table, and I was disgusted with him. Yeah, right. I was disgusted with him because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, this dude be sitting up here saying the N-word and blah, blah, blah. And here he is right here. Oh, I should just check him. I should just check him right here. But I was like, let me just keep it professional. I don't want my cousin Melba, my big cousin, getting on me and stuff like that on the first day of the job, saying I was making trouble and, cussing out one of her celebrity guests. But anyways, until y'all got celebrities and presidents and congressmen and women coming to your restaurant establishment, I don't want to hear nothing. Do it in your homeland. Have the most powerful people in the world come to your restaurant and establishment in your homeland. Imagine that. We supposed to be the children of the slaves, and everybody want to come eat with us. Imagine that.
So Cash, I think my panel was one of the first SBA panels that you have been on, and you gave me some really good Black history about your cousin Melba and what she accomplished in New York and Times Square. Since it is National Black History Month, aka National Black American History Month, do you remember what it is, that accomplishment, so you could say it today on the panel?
Oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely. So thank you for reminding me. My cousin
you're
Melba,
welcome.
oh, and she made more history, y'all. I'm gonna share that with you too. She became, last year, she became the first black business, period, black American business or melanated, you know what I'm trying to say, business, period, in Grand Central Station, New York. So that was real biggest accomplishment, and she did it on Black History Month last year. So shout out to my
Wow.
cousin Melba
Yeah,
Shout
making,
out to
definitely.
her.
yeah, she made Black History on Black History Month last year, and she made history not too long ago. I think last month was it, but she has been selected to cater to the U.S. opening, for those tennis stars and stuff, tennis players. So yeah.
Nice. Ah, and don't get it.
Hmm.
Some people tell me that word nice really didn't mean nice back in the days. And I'm just like, I don't want to lose my train of thought when I'm thinking. So shout out to her. We're still making culinary history. And I just find it really weird that the Jamaicans, after arguing with them over if our food, this is people who have a whole go head in the pot, told me our ancestors' food was slave food. Our
Right.
soul food is slave food. To find, I see rice and peas on what is supposed to be a soul food menu. Uh, I'm like, really? I get so mad. And then there's one restaurant calling their macaroni and their version of macaroni and cheese macaroni pie. Like anything to take us from our culture. And you know what's weird? Well, it's not weird. It's within our nature. We'd never do that to them.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
Malik, yep, Malik says, congrats to your cousin for making history on Black History Month. You changed your
Thank you,
name
Malik.
to Cash American?
Yeah, yeah. I like to switch it up every now and then, and I didn't want people thinking I was a Pan African, so I had to switch it up too. Um,
And you have something cool going on with your YouTube channel. Am I correct? You went into some mounds or something. I saw a clip.
yeah, I was visiting the mounds in gosh, I can't think of the name of the place right now, but it's right down there, next
In
to one
Georgia?
of the, yeah, it's in South Georgia. I'll think of the name in a second. But yeah, it's hiding in plain sight right there. Like you got like 5 or 6 mounds in that area, and it's right down the street from an AME church, very old AME church. And what's funny is you got an African that is the head of that church. Very weird, but anyways, yeah. On Black History Month, man. To answer that question, hell, we should honor um, our culinary heroes. Like I'm gonna say Sally Hemings' brother. His first name is slipping my mind right now. But I'm driving past the Monticello. Uh, uh, y'all know on the back of the nickel,
James.
that
You talking
mansion.
about James?
Yeah,
Yeah, Monticello in Virginia.
yes. Thank you. Yeah, I'm
I,
driving past that right now, and so it's
I
making me
ha-
think about. I'm sorry. What you saying, sis?
I'm not, but um, I'm trying to remember. I think that was like a few years ago. I went out to um, I, I'm trying to think of what part of Virginia that is, because it's like you go 64 north from Richmond to go out there. I think.
Boom. I'm on 64 East right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
just drove past the historical marker. So it's funny. Like nothing is coincidence. I'm very spiritual, and nothing is coincidence in this matrix that we live in. You dig? So The fact that we talking about the culinary thing and you brought that up, and I'm driving past
Yeah,
where these people was enslaved at,
yeah.
and that brother invented macaroni and cheese. Come on, don't
Yeah,
I
talk
think
down
that's
on our
amazing.
people.
yeah. Did mac and cheese originate from Virginia?
Basically, yeah.
Oh,
I hear he went to France to do some work with learning how to work with cheese and macaroni and stuff. So he brought that knowledge back to the United
Absolutely.
States, and you know, one day he decided to make combine the two, and you know, bake some mac and cheese.
hey,
I
that makes sense. And you know what? The more you learn about where, like, a lot of your soul food dishes, they come from like different parts in the United States, and it kind of got to the point where it made an impact on all of us, and we started cooking it, and it started spreading out everywhere. Like, did you actually knew that like there was a chef one time kind of introduced like collard greens in the city of Philadelphia?
wow.
Mm,
Tap
really?
the screen for me, y'all. Do your daily heart meet. I do have a gift goal. I did bring up Sally Hemings brothers information, but the collard greens. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I just know what my mama cooked, what my granny cooked, and what I cooked too. I never stopped to think about where exactly what they but I do know it's ours, right? It's our cuisine. We took nothing and made it into something, and we're spectacular at doing it. What I did see though is a recent video, and our ancestors, they were talking about our ancestors and the way they used to cook. So they used to cook according to, I'm gonna say, do I want to say ailment or to prevent anemia, stuff like that, with collard greens. And I'm not gonna mention all the ingredients, but do you, and they used to use those casket pans, right? So they
Yep.
had a method to the way they cook. Do you know now that scientists are agreeing with what our and the way that our ancestors cooked? I just had the video. I repost so many things, y'all. Y'all will really have to dig through my stuff. But the information is out there. They say, yeah, now they're agreeing with it. And we do know that they used a lot of hoodoo when they cooked, right?
Yes,
So
indeed.
I think that the way that we're tapped into the ancestors is why we're able to thrive and be hey ladybird, one breathe the riches out of the melanated folks. But I never thought of them when I'm looking at the wealth gap. I'm always looking at the YT and the stolen wealth. But to have them come rearing their heads as buffers and people that vote no to things that could actually repair us. They're not even being fair with us. Not one iota of advocacy from what I could tell has basically worked for us. Everything that we got, we fought for, we all say that, but we even have to fight them now. And I don't mean physically, I mean politically. With our nonprofit organization, they have so many nonprofit organizations. I'm realizing from sitting in on the Haitian town hall call. And with nonprofits, y'all can work together. Y'all can fund each other. If you contract services, they push for legislation specifically for them, and that's a lot of ways they're beating us out in New York too. So I'm going to read about James Hemings. That's Sally Hemings' brother. So it says James Hemings, born 1765 and transitioned 1801, the older brother of Sally Hemings and an enslaved chef to Thomas Jefferson, is credited with bringing and adapting the recipe for macaroni and cheese to America. Trained in France, he served as the head chef at Monticello and popularized various French dishes. So they said James was born into slavery and trained in Paris as a chef de cuisine. Contribution. He is known for popularizing macaroni and cheese in America as well as introducing dishes like French fries and creme brulee. Freedom. After negotiating with Thomas Jefferson, he was granted his freedom in 1796. Legacy. He was the first American, they say, to train as a chef in France. But today we honor our great chef, James Hemings. He was the first Black American to train as a chef in France.
Amazing. Amazing.
Amazing, right? Dred, do you want to contribute to anything you heard? Any thoughts? Because I don't want to keep y'all long. I just want to come up and do the National Black History Month spotlight and kind of decompress before we got to go on the app or go out into the real world and deal with everybody else. Right now, we're just loving on us.
I'm just soaking up all the information and knowledge, you know. Yeah, no doubt. And congrats to your cousin, Cash. I think that's dope, man. Really dope.
Thank you, thank you. All thanks to Most High. I'm glad that we connected to Source the way we are. And thank you for having this space, BX, because, you know, it reminds me of who we are. You know, we're the soul of America, hence our food. That's why it's so good. We're the true soulaan people, true Aboriginal of America. And I got to deal with these devils right quick on the job. So it's like, man, this live right here is making me feel a lot better. So that way my mind will be right before I go deal with these devils. Got to get this dollar from them right quick, you know.
No doubt. I miss these spaces right here, man. I miss these. I've been playing.
You know, and the incentive for me, now let me not put it like that, but I do offer super fans. It's super fans now, not subscription. And they have something where you could give somebody a super fan. And I want to say shout out to Just Slim because she's kept her super fan status. And so, you know, I got to come back live more often. But the thing with me, and I didn't mean to cut you off, Dre, is I like engagement. So I'm thank you for engaging with me. For those who did keep their super fans, who knows that I go live sporadically. I am trying my best to keep these spaces up because as a mod on a lot of these panels, I pretty much could spot out who is there just to get information, gather information, and then who knows what they do. It's like who sent you. And so sometimes we don't need to be talking about our reparations in front of everybody. We don't even need to be talking about our history in front of everybody. Why? Because they take one little thing and they run to the next one, and then they give our people over there grief when we could just be focused on us. And so this is a safe space for foundational Black Americans or anybody of the lineage who could identify as such, who is on board with the delineation movement or who is willing to learn more about the delineation movement. So I'm going to try to go live more frequently because I see the benefit into it as opposed to my feelings that not many are engaging. I do see the benefit, y'all. So I thank y'all.
Yeah, I'm glad I got back on your panel again. You know, I took a break for a while, you know, getting up on panels, but I do appreciate when you actually do go back on panels talking about more of our history, you know, acknowledging our ancestors, and also talk about all the great inventions that our ancestors created for us to pass on. And then to still talk about it today is still amazing too. And then the great thing about it, like even you got some of your young foundational Black Americans, they're still creating new stuff now that is pushing the movement, pushing our culture forward. And I do appreciate these spaces, especially when it's just only us, no outsiders at all.
Yes. Go ahead, Dred. I'm sorry I cut you off.
I can't even remember what I was saying.
Can't remember it.
Yeah.
I think it was going to align with Malik.
Yeah.
Can I throw another name out there?
Sure.
Yeah, so Black Caesar.
Okay, wait, I have to make a disclaimer. So we are talking about National Black History Month. I do put my panels on YouTube, so I won't talk strategy. History is fine. The state of reparations is fine, but strategy, we're not going to do. But tell us who Black Caesar. Strategy is for the back chat, y'all. And instead of having a Discord, we can get a Zoom meeting going. I have been approved for my nonprofit, y'all. I'm not asking for donations at this time. I'm only asking for those who are willing to collaborate, strategize, and see how we can help each other out to advance the lineage as we embark on this delineation movement. And FBA is the ethnonym for our lineage. Delineation is the movement. I'm tired of people talking about FBA movement, FBA movement. No, we're FBA who has a movement named delineation. But tell us about Black Caesar. Hi, Kiki Lolo. Thank you, the Black American House. Um, Cash, tell us about Black Caesar. Cash be working, y'all. Sometimes it's Wi-Fi, and he was driving. Anybody know who Black Caesar is?
I'm not for sure who that is. I know for me, I'm a person that you could bring up as like Phyllis Wheatley,
Tell us about Phyllis Wheatley. I'm gonna look up Black Caesar.
well-known poet. I think she was from Philadelphia. I think
You know, Philly has such beautiful history.
you do.
Yeah, I hear the Africans are over there too, y'all. They're getting on my
They
nerves, and
are.
I mean Caribbeans, Jamaicans specifically. I had like a 2 day battle with why Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson were not. You can't say that they were or are Caribbean when they already told you they Black American or Mike Tyson uses African American, right? So it's like people living have already told you who they are and who their allegiance is to first. And you
Mhm.
still gonna come tell me these people are Caribbean? It don't make sense to me. But I'm gonna look up Black Caesar. Cash was driving, so he might have hit a patch where his Wi-Fi went out.
Uh,
But y'all can keep talking while I look up Black Caesar.
I guess I wanted to go back on that whole mac and cheese conversation because between here with the Caribbeans and the Caribbeans in London with the mac and cheese, that was just disgusting. They don't know what mac and cheese is at all. And I even had to tell because the first time I saw it was in London, and I'm like, y'all making Kraft mac and cheese and putting just a little bit of cheese, like extra cheese on top, and acting like this is supposed to be mac and cheese, and it
Hey,
wasn't.
Professor Alan. Go ahead. I'm listening. I'm sorry. I'm
Like,
saying hi to the professor.
oh, hey, Professor. Um, but that whole thing interaction I had earlier kind of was a little bit infuriating with that. I think he said he was from like Jamaica and Trinidad. It was something like that. It was like bi-ethnic, but they were still from the Caribbean.
I read who I think Cash might have been talking about, and if his phone went out, I think the ancestors said not now, Cash, because
Oh
they
Lord.
are labeling, they're not identifying him as Black or Black American, and um, they're using the word African descent.
Okay.
Now I don't know. I can read it, but I don't want everybody in my inbox bothering me. Why are you always trying to test on the African? And we are maintaining our ethnic. Well, he could have underwent an ethnogenesis. We do admit that the USA did get the least number of captives. Those captives helped create a new ethnicity. However, there was ethnogenesis, the way we were isolated. And so those captives, when we say that they weren't African or the Africans, unalived out, no longer existed on this land. If they birthed a new ethnic group or contributed to a new ethnic group, then that's right. When they ceased being, when they transitioned, there weren't any Africans left. Right?
That's,
Or
I guess, for me too, because that's a part of the FBA, the ancestry, and everybody's not going to have the African. Some people might just have the indigenous. Some people have all three, or it
right,
could just be the African and the indigenous. So,
yeah. I make it make sense. Well, I stand on amalgamation. I have all that ancestry, right? And if you believe in the DNA test, then I have some Southeast Asian in there. My children have some. We all have
oh
Spanish and
wow,
Portuguese. Listen, we all have Spanish and Portuguese, right? But the Italian, for my boys, kind of shocked me, right? My daughter never tested on 23andMe, so she doesn't have that. She doesn't have the breakdown of the components like we did on Ancestry.com.
okay.
But they have Italian. And my son was like, think Romans, think Catholic Church. Because I was like, huh? How'd y'all get that? Where'd that come from? Hey, Chris. Hey, oh, Chris, aren't you going live soon? Hi, Candy. He's going to be doing a New York type of live today. Hey, make it make sense. I think the ancestors doesn't want Black Caesar talked about until Cash does his research and can combat the African descent, if that was even who he was talking about. My word, and for everybody to either marinate on or even implement when you're on these panels, ethnic autonomy. Like, and our ancestors deserve their autonomy. Everybody else's ancestors get their autonomy. Every ethnic group gets their autonomy, right? So they're gonna leave us alone and stop picking apart our ancestry, our ethnicity, our role in history, not only in this nation but in the globe. Because so far, hmm, a couple of them got to beat them one-hit wonder records, and they got to understand the difference between contributing and participating because they already came into established movements going on in this land. Like now, can we give them credit for anything that is documented that they did? Of course. However, in this day and age, in this climate, I'm reluctant to even do so. And so I'm really not an etymologist, like, oh no, this word, if you break it down, but I am a semanticist, is that's a word, right? Like we will really play
Hey,
semantics, right?
oh, hey, yo,
Because,
BX.
huh?
Hey, I'm about to get ready to go. I'm about to get ready to start working another 2 hours. But hey, thanks.
Okay, thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. I
I
appreciate it.
appreciate you. Yes, I appreciate you, Malik. And I'll be sending you another invite when I go live. What's today? Saturday, maybe Sunday, maybe Monday.
All
And I'm
right,
gonna get ready
I'm
to
down for
study.
whatever. I'll be available whether it's tomorrow or on Monday. I got
Yeah,
all weekend.
thank you. I appreciate you, Malik.
Anytime, BX.
Thanks. The word I would use for everybody else who came here and we already had movements going on would be participated and not contribute. But do you have any final words for the Black Americans House? I think Cash is like stuck in the matrix somewhere.
um, I really don't have a lot to say. Not really.
So I'm gonna say this: Happy National Black History Month. Happy National Black American History Month. Happy FBA History Month. We are being the movement. Although I'm frustrated, you may be frustrated. Delineation is doing what it is supposed to do, and we have been mentioned on ABC News station, on ABC News channel. That's a credible mainstream media site. Miss Nicki Minaj sat on a I don't know why the interviewer thought she should ask Nicki Minaj anything about us. We don't identify as African American, and we don't condone people who are not of the lineage without any foundational Black American ancestry, without even a foundational Black American parent speaking for us. So, yes, immigrants do not speak for Black American communities, nor, and I'm really tired of this, should they be comparing ICE with the illegal immigrants who willingly migrated here are going through to our history. I demand ethnic autonomy for our ancestors' history and for our plight that we still go through on this land. Because, like AOC said, who's black anyway? But conveniently, they know who's black when it's time to compare their struggles to ours. But you can't compete where you can't compare. If you willingly migrated here and you knew what we were going through, especially when you came here and was anti-Black American to us anyway. See how that works? So, peace, love, light, and reparations to my foundational Black Americans or anyone of the lineage who could identify as such. I love y'all for real. And I will. Oh, Candy says they know who is Black when it's time for loans. Ow!
Hello.
Yes. Yes, that is a word. That is a word.
And they
And I
can't
want to
get.
thank y'all for coming and contributing from the comment section. Even I always try to read your comments, just so that could further the conversation because everybody who's impacted by the ethnocide that we're going through should have a voice, right? And my platform is designed to amplify our voices in a safe space. So that was a word. Go ahead, the Black Americans House, and then I'll close out.
But they can't get SBA loans anymore. It's going to be American first.
Yes, that is the word. So go ahead, y'all. Go ahead and drop. I'm gonna just X out because y'all know I'm like them old ladies that, and Candy says yes. That'll keep you here. Just, yeah, bye, baby. But you know what Miss Johnny May said, and you'll be here all day. So I love us for real. I'm out. Peace.
Later, Auntie.
Later.